We gather this day to remember our friends, our co-workers, our loved ones, like my sister, Dr. Peggy Clark, who died on April 19th.
We come here to remember those who were killed, those who survived, and those changed forever. May all who leave here know the impact of violence. May this memorial offer comfort, strength, peace, hope, and serenity.
20 years ago, Oklahoma City paused in horror as 168 of our friends, family, and neighbors died as a result of the bombing of the federal building on this site. 20 years later, it's a city that has grown and changed in many ways, but it has not forgotten.
To the families, I will never forget. I will always love you. I will always respect, and my heart will be bleeding for you all the time.
The agony was persistent. The agony appeared never to end. This was a place of unspeakable horror and tragedy.
Turn back the clock 20 years ago. We were in our darkest hour. It was 60 minutes of terror. But our finest hour has now lasted 20 years.
Let us not forget the hope of our state, the hope of our future, and let us not forget to remind future generations of Oklahomans how important of a site this is.
In the minutes following the attack, the people of Oklahoma City did something that the rest of us watching from afar found hard to fathom. You ran towards darkness. You ran towards pain. You ran towards anger and destruction. You ran because these were your friends. You ran because they were your neighbors and your teammates and members of your congregation. You ran because that is what Oklahomans do for their family. And on this day, those people were family.
Today is a day to mourn and remember those who died here 20 years ago. But today is also a day to say to those who intend to terrorize us, no, you cannot.
When you strip away all the little things that divide us, it's important to remember how tied we are and how much we, all Americans, owe Oklahoma City.
4 days after the 1995 bombing, President Bill Clinton visited Oklahoma City and spoke at the memorial prayer service. He returned 5 years later for the dedication of the outdoor symbolic memorial. His remarks on this morning marked his 6th visit to the memorial. He reflected on a nation and a city that has dealt with the challenge of rebuilding and healing.
Oklahoma City, you have chosen well. For 20 years, you have honored the memories of your loved ones. You have inspired us with the power of your renewal. You have reminded us that we should all live by the Oklahoma standard: service, honor, kindness. In doing these things, you had to choose to affirm our common humanity in the face of mad, crazy people who think the differences are all that matter, enough to dehumanize innocent bystanders they never met. You had to choose far-sighted love over blind hatred. You had to choose to redeem your terrible losses by beginning again. The whole world needs you now. I wish everyone could come and see this model for a new century of human interdependence. Not because you forgot the loss of loved ones, but because you remembered. Not because the pain and loss and love have worn away with time, but because they endure. And the only way you can redeem the loved ones is to live by the standard you have branded. It has been magnificent to behold. I urge you never to forget it. I thank you for the privilege of doing what I could to help. of being a witness to your triumphs, to have played a small part in what happened here in the aftermath of that terrible day. It is an honor I will treasure as long as I live. All I ask is that you never forget that you made the right choice. God bless you.